The Old Man, Chapter 11. Winifred leaned back in her chair and let out a happy sigh as she patted her belly. Oh, that was perfect. Charlie followed suit. Oh, I'm so stuffed. Do you two feel better? Mr. Powers asked, as he held a coffee mug in his hands. Much, Winifred sighed. Charlie simply nodded with a hum. You really are a nice guy, he finally said. I try to be, Mr. Powers replied. It's already hard enough on revenants to fit in with human society. Winifred perked up and Charlie leaned forward. What was that? Isn't it obvious? He asked. But you have lips. No nose. He chuckled, pointing to the nasal cavity they had somehow overlooked. So, you are a monster, Winifred squeaked. I suppose that is commonly what humans call my kind, Mr. Powers sighed. In these modern times, it's harder to keep separate. Human society evolves over time, and that's something that eventually has to happen to my kind as well. Some of us are willing to take that step. However, those that do not, and the residual memories of my kind on humankind, well, let's just say it makes it a lot harder to move forward. So that's why you don't come out much? Charlie asked. He simply gave a nod. He pushed himself back and stood up. We should get going. Charlie gasped. Oh, my goodness. You're right. Winifred, we need to get home. Mom and Dad are going to be so mad. I think they will understand, Mr. Powers said. Our parents are a little strict, Winifred pointed out to him. I'm sure they'll understand, he repeated. Are you going to tell them what happened? Charlie asked. They may go easy on us if you back up our story. They won't believe us if you don't, Winifred added. Come along, Mr. Powers offered. The lights will go off soon, and the valley will be very dark. That was enough for them. They followed him through the dwindling crowd. Booths were closed up, and rides were beginning to shut down after the last of the queues had their turn. Soon enough, the gravel road was once again visible, and they made their way up the main road and the safety of the sidewalk once more. Cedar or oak? Charlie suddenly asked. What? From Winifred. Mr. Powers simply turned to look at him. Autumn time smells so good because the fireplaces are going. It makes the town smell like cedar or oak. It's pine, Mr. Powers corrected. It doesn't smell like the dark barley fir, the boy said. It's not the same consistency. Actual logs give off a somewhat different smell than painted boards. Boards? Winifred perked. For someone without a nose, you sure seem to know your smells. He stopped. The siblings weren't expecting that and bumped into him like a small accordion. They stammered their apologies, but he gave no acknowledgment of them. He lifted his left arm and pointed to the valley below. Their eyes followed, and they realized that something was off about the carnival. It was horrible. It looked nothing like it did when they were there. Yes, there were lots of people. Yes, there were many loud noises and flashing lights. However, it wasn't the rides or the game booths. What happened? Winifred breathed. What's going on? Charlie added. Slowly, Mr. Powers looked over his shoulder at them. After a moment, he turned and stepped between them. Shoddy maintenance, he said. Cutting corners isn't cheap if there is such a great risk. What are you talking about? Charlie demanded. The carnival has been closed for a couple hours, he explained. That can't be. We were just there. Yeah, we saw it, Winifred confirmed. The man took a deep inhale and let it out in a long and slow manner. This wasn't easy. It never was. I'll be blunt with you, he said. There's no point in pussyfooting about with matters such as these. What matters? Winifred asked. If you know something, spill it, Charlie demanded. The smell is the pine used to build the fun house and the haunted adventure, he said simply. Everyone was evacuated as the fire spread quickly between the two buildings. What? The siblings gasped. There were a few injuries, but most survived. It was lucky for them. "What about Mike and James?" Charlie asked frantically. "They are fine," Mr. Powers assured. "I have said that already. They were very lucky to have made it out just in time." He looked back and forth between the two children. Not everyone was so lucky. "What are you talking about?" Winifred asked. "Stringing us along like this is not blunt, Mr. Powers," Charlie yelled. "You're dead, kid," he spat. "Don't you get it? You two walked right into that fire." "That can't be," Charlie cried out. "You pulled us out," Winifred reminded. "I retrieved a part of you," he stated. "Have you not noticed that your friends never came to check on you?" "I—" Charlie paused and tried to make some sort of sense of the matter. "Didn't they tell anyone we were still inside?" "They did," he affirmed. "Nobody could get in." "I could." "Fire. It means nothing to me. I cannot die that easily. Not a person of my kind. Even so, not one of my rank." "Dead!" Winifred whimpered. The realization slowly seemed to dawn on her. Tears began to well up in her eyes. "Why? Why didn't you come in sooner?" Charlie demanded. Despite the growing rage of the boy, Mr. Powers remained calm, but stern. "It was your time," he finally said. "There was a slight chance that you would be spared. However, it just seemed so evident. I knew it was coming. I just know these things. So I prepared for it. Now you are here." "You knew?" Winifred screamed. "You knew and you didn't warn us? You didn't help us? You monster! No wonder humans don't like you. You're horrible and evil." "I'm not evil," Mr. Powers growled. "Those of my rank are not required to prevent the inevitable." "What rank are you talking about?" Charlie yelled. "Reaper, boy! Have you not figured that out? I am a Reaper. I am a member of the Royal Order of Collections, and you have been collected." He took a few deep breaths to calm himself. The siblings were holding on to each other. Of course, he had frightened them. "I didn't choose you," he assured. "Everyone has a time. Few are lucky enough to escape the inevitable. I don't dislike you. You two seem like a couple of nice kids. It's unfortunate that it must be this way, but that is how it is. Human beings die. They have such fragile bodies, fragile works. It's so easy for a human's light to come to an end and become nothing but a glimmer. But you needn't worry. The pain is over, and the shock will eventually subside. I'm sure a better place awaits you, a bliss reserved for good souls, where the pains and rigors of life can never touch you again." Winifred and Charlie tried several times to find something to say. Nothing seemed to form. There were so many things they wanted to say, and yet could not find the words to do so. Mr. Power simply waited patiently as they struggled. It wasn't until he could see the defeat in their eyes that he felt comfortable speaking again. "Can't we even say good-bye?" Winifred whimpered. "Time for that has passed. Making you visible again would only cause everyone more pain." "Then let us become like you," Charlie pleaded. "That is not possible." "You lie." "It is my prerogative to decide one's worth and readiness to take up such a decision. It is not one that should be taken lightly. Did you not hear me when I told you how humankind reacts to the Revenants? You would be you, but those who once loved you could very well turn on you when you become their interpretation of a monster. You have no purpose, and your existence would cause you far more trouble than it's worth." His face softened as he looked at those desperate faces. "I understand how you feel. It's never easy. Your life would never be the same again if I granted your wish so irresponsibly. Cedar Falls is not ready to share its streets with the likes of Revenants. Perhaps some day, but that is not now. You cannot handle the burden of being one of my kind, and it would be cruel of me to let you haunt these grounds so aimlessly as the world passes you by and leaves you stranded. I am offering you your peace and your contentment. How can we trust you now? Charlie asked stubbornly. This is all your fault. The fault is not mine, he insisted. I am simply the messenger and the collector. I lead you into the realm beyond your death, so you do not wander in despair forever in that place. I lead you to an end to your suffering, so you no longer feel the haunt of your pain and suffering so endlessly in that place. You may see me as a monster, but I am a necessity, and one that no one can escape. One becomes, one serves beneath, or one joins the ranks. Even then, there is a chance of being reaped, and your soul strung upon the reaper's thread. I'm saving you your trouble, and in time you shall know no differently as you exist in the bubble that you have earned for yourselves, your forever, your infinity. Do you understand? No, Charlie replied simply. Winifred shook her head as well. But, he continued, there is no way to argue ourselves out of this, is there? I'm afraid not. It hurts, Winifred whispered, as she wiped the tears from her face with her arm. It will get worse the longer you fight it. I'm scared. It was then that Charlie let out a heavy sigh. He offered her his hand and grew a thoughtful smile. It'll be okay, Winifred. I'll go with you. You don't have to go through anything by yourself. She studied his face and slowly gripped her hand in his. Promise? Promise you won't leave me alone? I promise, he assured. He looked to Mr. Powers. I can do that, can't I? Now Mr. Powers grew a thoughtful smile. Humph, indeed. That is a promise you can keep. I will see to that. Now let's go home. The siblings nodded to each other in confirmation. Hand in hand, they walked with Mr. Powers into the night and into whatever awaited them in that afterlife ahead. The end.